You know those moments on Antiques Roadshow when someone discovers that the painting they bought at a flea market is worth $100,000? Well, this next story is kind of like that. Except the Chicago man who found this unexpected treasure also found himself with a huge responsibility because he may have discovered one of the finest street photographers of the mid-20th century, a Chicago nanny by the name of Vivian Meyer.
We don't know much about Vivian Meyer. We know that she worked as a nanny for families on the North Shore from the mid-1950s into the 90s. She was kind of a loner. She spoke with a French accent. She had strong opinions about movies and politics. And on her day off, she always carried a camera. John says that when he finally found Vivian Meyer's name in one of the boxes in 2009, a Google search turned up just one thing: an obituary from a few days earlier. That led him to a family she had worked for, and then another. And finally, a biography began to emerge. Vivian Meyer was born in New York in 1926 and lived in both France and New York growing up. By her mid-20s, she was living permanently in the U.S. She lived with one family as a nanny in Highland Park for 16 years. The children she cared for have been quoted as saying she was like Mary Poppins to them, eccentric, delightful, taking them on great adventures. A later employer paints a more complex person. How do you think she would feel about the fact that this is all becoming so public?
I could say a couple of things to that. I'll never know, of course. I have an audio tape that she recorded, and she says a little tidbit about what she feels about, what happens after you die, and when somebody takes up after you.
Well, I suppose nothing is meant to last forever. We have to make room for other people. It's a wheel. You get on, you have to go to the end, and then someone else has the same opportunity to go to the end, and so on, and somebody else takes their place.
For Chicago Tonight, this is Jay Shefsky.
Wow, fascinating. The first American exhibition of Vivian Meyer's work will open at the Chicago Cultural Center on January 7th and run through early April. In December 2008, Vivian Meyer slipped on the ice and hit her head. She died about 4 months later in an Oak Park nursing home. She was 83.